So the final video presentation for today will be sustained gesture. This is just a gesture that goes on for a longer amount of time, and we'll be doing this from the actual still life. So if you look at this drawing, you can see that I worked very quickly, filled up the whole page, then began to correct things, identify areas where I wanted focal points, and then slowed down even more and began to pull out some of the detail for those focal points. It's certainly not a finished drawing. It can go a lot further, but it's a good beginning. Okay, so the final one I'm going to do is I'm going to do a gesture drawing of the still life and demonstrate that process so you can get started on that as well. But I thought I'd show you two examples that I had a little bit more time to work on. So this is a continuous still life, continuous line drawing of a still life. And this is what I want yours to look like. You want to beat these drawings to death. You want to really, really, really work and work and work into them. So if you remember last time, I only got, I'll show you this real quickly. I only got this far, okay, for the demo. Just the start of it. This is what you should do for your half-hour continuous line drawing. Get in there, really emphasize some of those contours, pull them out, build up shadows, build up a nice range of values, dark areas, light areas, medium areas. That's the idea. And then with gesture, we're going to do what's called a sustained gesture, and it's really kind of similar where we're going to work very, very quickly, fill up that page like I did with the portrait. We're going to work fast. And then you're going to slow down, start to add detail, correct things, and then slow down even more and start to build up focal points, areas of interest. So this would be an example of about a half-hour gesture drawing. When gestures are long, we call them sustained gestures. So let me demo a gesture. And again, gestures can be done in pen. There's no reason why you can't, but they're a lot easier to do in pencil. So I'm going to do basically the same view, but we'll do it with gesture. Remember, with gesture, full arm movements. You don't want anything slowing you down. You want this to be a very, very quick, fast technique. And draw through things. There's a guitar behind her. Think about where that guitar actually goes through her body. And get into it. You've got to get excited about this. So there's my start. I've got a nice composition, nice design. Now I can start to slow down a little bit. And these are going to get messy. But I'm going to think about where the nose is, the eye, the mouth. Start to build up some of those features. And I don't know, it's just, there's something about working this quickly that just gives you a better proportional drawing. You know, this is the type of technique that can help you with anything. It can help you if you become a painter. It can help you if you become a sculptor. Even if you like drawing anime, if you like those really crisp, kind of contour-based drawings, gesture is how you want to start this. You want to start those out, and then you can maybe do the contour lines on top of your gesture. Okay, so got a reasonably good start here. And now is where I need to start thinking about where those, you believe that? Never mind, let me just turn this off. Never have your phone on during a... No one ever calls me anyway. I can't really believe I got a phone call. All right, so anyway, I'm going to start to build my focal point. So I think the first one I'm going to do is her face, of course. I'm just like everybody else. I like drawing faces. Maybe this clasp here again. And then I think I'll come down to this little clasp down here on this actual brace. So those will be my 3 spots. That'll create my triangle. Now, the graphite crayons, they work pretty good, but at some point you're going to want to come in with a pencil that will give you a little bit more detail. So I want to come in with this is a 4B pencil. It gives me a little bit more control. And it doesn't hurt to just kind of do some hatching like this to start to build up areas of shadow, areas of contrast. You can start to kind of delineate some of these sharper contours, but don't do it too quickly. Don't commit to that right away. Let your gesture be a gesture. Let it get the job done. Because if you start doing contours on here before you've got this thing cooked, you'll have proportional problems. So we want to just make sure that we keep our proportions good, keep our alignment good. So I'm going to come in, this is going to give me a sharper line, it's going to let me start to get some edges and start to actually build up those focal points, but I don't want to jump to contour. I want to just keep this gesture going. I've slowed down a little bit, and that's fine, but I don't want to slow down too much. So just kind of cruise through here, get a little bit of correction going. Think about things like how her chin matches up with the little arm sockets there. Arms are missing. The chin's a little higher, so those should pop out around here. You can always stop and check for things like that. Do a little sighting. And even if you have an area that's incorrect, so like I had this brace a little high, I am not going to sweat that for 1 second because I can very easily just suggest that that's negative space. And our eyes will accept that. So at this point, this is called a sustained gesture. And a sustained gesture just means it's going to be a longer gesture. So instead of it just being a matter of a minute or two, 3 or 4 minutes, or maybe even a matter of 30 seconds, we're going to start it that way, start it very, very fast, but then we're going to start to slow down and continue to work on it. And it's kind of fun because it's very intuitive. You know, you just decide where it is you want to work. And slowly build that up. Now, this is on newsprint, so we can only get so dark and work so hard on newsprint. But I will have you start to do these on your good drawing paper as well. And when that's the case, and I'll demonstrate that in class, then you can actually take your eraser and start to erase in there. And maybe just to finish, just come up and start to get a little bit more of a sense of order up here to the face. That cloth running over the face, that can get a little sharper in spots. It doesn't have to be hard edge the whole the whole length. You might just do a little bit of it. And then just, slowly start to build those features. But notice I'm still just trying to discover where everything is. Still being very careful. But now you've got a focal point that's beginning to pop out. And the objective of these is to fill up the page, have a nice, proportional, well-aligned drawing, that has a lot of energy to it, but then starts to have 3 spots where you slow down and you actually create a focal point. And by the time you're done, you might just be really carefully shading these areas. They'll get a little dark, but that's okay. And trying to show everybody, you know, just how good you can draw, how good you can shade and smooth out your transitions, that sort of thing. So what's nice about gesture is it's just a very, very forgiving, very adaptable drawing process. Okay, so that's sustained gesture from the still life.